Hi, hello and welcome to this video. This is the additional mathematics form 4 quadratic function Kssm, quadratic function mastery practice question. So my name is Terry. I'm going to go through all the questions in this practice. Hopefully it will help you to solve your textbook question. Yep. So let's go straight to question number 1, solving quadratic equation. Now here the question says that you have to give your answer correct to 3 decimal places. So we know for sure we won't be able to factorize, so we can either complete the square or use quadratic formula. So but completing the square is generally more difficult. Quadratic formula method is definitely easier. So the formula, let me write down for you, is minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a, and this formula is given in exam. So before you use the formula, you have to expand the bracket and arrange it in the general form. So let me expand one by one. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, which will give us 2x plus 10x minus x squared minus 5x. So when I transfer everything to the left, so I'm just going to calculate this one shot here. Okay, I think I made a mistake here. This is 10, sorry, this is not 10x. Okay, I wrote this wrongly. So yeah, I'm going to bring everything over. This is 4x squared. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Negative 3 I bring over is going to be minus 12 plus 3 minus 9x, and this is minus 10. You can write one extra step if you want. So now with that, I know my a is 4, my b is negative 9, my c is negative 10. So my solution will be negative b plus minus b squared is negative 9 square root. For a is 4, c is minus 10 over 2a. So 9 plus minus, now 9 squared is 81, 81 minus 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 10 is 160, 81 plus 160 is 241 over a. Just type in your calculator and you will get negative, so please when you type in minus first followed by plus. Do two separate equation. So the first one is negative 0.816, correct to 3 decimal places. Second one is 3.066. Okay, so this is fairly simple. All right, moving on to question number 2. So in question number 2, you're given a quadratic equation and you're supposed to express in general form. So again, we can expand this quickly. This is x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals to 3. Just bring the 3 over. You will get 13, right? So there you go, that's in general form. Now state the sum of roots and product of roots. Now we know that we've done this earlier, right? That to form a quadratic equation, we can write x squared minus SOR x plus BOR equals 0, right? That means the coefficient of x with the negative outside is your SOR, and the constant will be your POR. Now this is only true if your coefficient of x squared is 1, right? So my SOR, by comparison, I can see my SOR supposed to be 8 and my POR supposed to be 13. Yeah, not difficult. All right, determine the type of roots of this equation. So now since I already know my a, b, c, my a is 1 based on this equation here, my b is negative 8, my c is 13, we can use b squared minus 4ac or the discriminant to determine the type of roots. So my b is negative 8 square, a is 1, c is 13, a squared is 64, 4 times 13 is 52, 64 minus 52 is 12, and this is more than 0. So if it's more than 0, we say the equation is real and distinct roots, or you can say 2 different roots. Okay, but however, I think if you write from the start, right, you can actually tell the type of root from this equation. Yeah, actually you don't have to use b squared minus 4ac, because if you were to square root this, you get plus minus root 3. X is just 4 plus minus root 3. So you have 2 different roots. You can see from here, right, 2 different roots. Yeah, so you can also use this to find the type of roots. All right, moving on to question number 3. So find the range of values of k, or the value of k, such that this equation has to equal root. Again, we know if they ask about the type of root, we know we have to use discriminant. So let us rearrange the equation first. I'm going to write x squared plus kx. I'll bring the 8 over, bring the k over, so you get 8 minus k equals 0. My a is 1, my b is k, my c is 8 minus k, right? I hope I don't have to write all this. Yeah? I know some of you are not very sure yet about writing your ABC. Some of you are already very sure, so that's fine. So I'm just going to write down just in case you are not sure about identifying your ABC. Now my b is k, I square it, 4, a is 1, c is 8 minus k, so this is k squared minus 32 plus 4k. Now I would not do part A first. I thought maybe it's best we simplify all this together, because I'm going to use it repeatedly for all three. So maybe we just factorize this. Yeah, we can, right? What is a factor of 32? 8 and 4. 8 times 4 is 32, and to get positive 4, 8 must be positive, 4 must be negative. Okay, so for E, yeah, in fact this is just the preliminary. I should write this as the preliminary. Yeah? Oh, part A, I'm going to use part A now. Okay, your b squared minus 4ac should be 0. Why? 2 equal root. So this becomes a quadratic equation. Originally this is a quadratic expression. This part here is an expression, right? By letting it be 0, it becomes a quadratic equation, and we can solve for the roots 4 and negative 8. Alright, B, 2 real and different roots. Now real and different root means our b squared minus 4ac should be greater than 0. So in this case, I'm going to use the result here, and I'm going to sub in k minus 4, k plus 8 more than 0, and we can sketch the graph. This is a quadratic inequality, and remember, to solve quadratic inequality, most of the time we use graph sketching method, and we can map the roots here, minus 8 and 4, on the k-axis. This is not x-axis, k-axis. And if this whole thing is your y, part of a graph, yeah, my graph y is above, my y is more than 0 here, as you can see, above here and here. Now when you sketch a graph, you don't have to draw the y-axis, just a sketch will do. We just have to identify what are my k values when my y is more than 0. And always remember, it's not shading actually, I'm drawing arrow downwards towards the k-axis to identify the range of values of k. So my k is either less than negative 8, or it must be greater than 4. Alright, now part C, you notice real roots, right, is actually a combination of 2 equal root and 2 different roots. So it is actually greater or equal to 0. So we are combining the result from the first one and the second one here, right? So combining 1 and 2, don't have to do anything else, just write down this answer. Yeah, just add in an equal sign, yeah, here onto this inequality. All right, so that is number 3. Moving on to number 4. Okay, given that this quadratic equation 3x squared plus bx minus 8, where p is a constant, find the value of p if 1 over root is 2, sum of root is 1 over 3. So okay, now the first thing is, I bet most people use SORPR for everything, because you've been taught that most of the time we can use SORPR, if not all the time, which is partly true. But some question, it's actually easier to use another method. I'm going to show you both. So typically, if I want to use SORPR, first step is to identify my A, B, C. My A is 3, B is B, C is negative 8. Now, because they say 1 over root is minus 2, so we know the first root, let's say, is minus 2, second root is alpha, right? So if I go into my SOR, okay, I'm going to write down the formula, because I know a lot of people still unsure about this, the formula, alpha plus beta minus B over A. So my alpha is, let's say, minus 2, beta is, I'll just put alpha, B over 3. I can't solve this, I'm going to leave it. Then my POR, alpha times beta, C over A. My alpha is minus 2, beta is just alpha, c is negative 8 over 3. We can find alpha. In this case, my alpha is minus 8 divided by minus 2 is 4 over 3. As I sub inside equation 1, minus 2 plus 4 over 3 is minus b over 3. Now I don't like fractions, so I times 3. Minus 6 plus 4 equals negative b. So negative b is negative 2, b is just 2. But let me show you second method. You will find second method is so much easier. Now actually you've done this in your Form 4 More Maths, Chapter 1, Quadratic expression and equation and function, right? So we know that if minus 2 is the root, what can we do? We can sub x with negative 2 into the equation. So that is 3 minus 2 square plus b minus 2 minus 8. The result must be 0. We say that this value here, x equals to minus 2, satisfy the equation. Satisfy the equation means we can sub in. The left hand side of the equation must equals to the right hand side of the equation. Okay, minus 2 square is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. This is minus 2b minus 8 equals 0. 12 minus 8 is just 4. And I bring the 2b over, b is just 2. Oh, this is so easy, right? So short, right? Okay, b. Find the sum of roots of, find the value of b if the sum of root is 1 over 3. Now, sum of root is your SOR. Okay, I already know my SOR, right? But this time, I can't use this information. It's a different question altogether. My SOR is 1 over 3. So we can just take minus b over 3 equals 1 over 3. Cancel that 3. B is just negative 1. Yeah? Well, B is so easy. Alright, so let's move on to number 5. Okay. Now, in this question, again, you see two real and equal root. I know b squared minus 4ac should be more equals 0. Equals 0. So let's identify my ABC. My A is 3h. My B is minus 7k. My C is 3h. So b squared minus 4ac must be equal 0. B is negative 7k. I square it. A is 3h. C is also 3h. Yeah? Okay, so let's expand. 4k, 49. 7 squared is 49, sorry. 49k squared. 4 times 3, 12. 12 times 3, 36. There's a h square here. Now we can bring over 49k squared equals 36h squared. Now because h and k are positive, you don't have to, when you square it, you don't have to put plus minus. Okay, let me explain. Let me explain why. Okay, maybe some people may say, oh, I square root this, I get 7k equals negative 6h. Now, if your h is positive, right, and when you divide it, your k will be negative. Correct now? So that is not possible, right? So yeah, since h and k are positive, so we don't need to bother about plus minus anymore. We can just square it directly and you get 7k equals 6h. And I'm finding the ratio of h and k, so I bring the 6 down, the k down. H over k is 7 over 6, h is to k, the ratio is 7 is to 6. Alright, and to solve this equation, I know a lot of people will tend to take this and sub inside the equation and solve them. You can if you want. Alright, so when I sub inside my equation, my h is now 7, right? My k is now 6. This is 3. H is again 7 equal 0. Now from here you can divide everybody by 7, right? So yeah, in fact I can divide by more, but it's okay. I'll just divide by 7 first. You should be able to see this. I can divide by 3 some more. X squared minus 2x plus 1. Then I can factorize it and say x equals to 1. Yeah, this is one way. Now, I wonder whether you know that when we use minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac, this is a very short way of doing. We know that when the roots are real and equal, your b squared minus 4ac is definitely 0. So if you want to use this method, yeah, it's much easier, I would say. I know my b is this, right? So you notice there's a negative here, negative b over a. So this will be negative b over a, right? So my b is minus 7 and my k is now 6. My a, this is 2a, sorry, there's a 2a here. My a is now 3h and my h is 6. We can cancel all, right? Wait. Yeah, this is 42 divided by okay, I think I wrote wrongly. My a is 3h, h is 7. Sorry, my h is 7. Yeah. So yeah, you can cancel them, right? So yeah, let me just show you how I cancel. This is 6. Cancel. 7. Cancel. The negative times negative is positive 1. There you go. You don't even have to factorize. Yeah. So you know that if you have real and equal root, this is your answer. Yeah. So x should be minus b over 2a. It's independent of the value of c. All right. Let's look at number 6. Sorry. Now we are supposed to solve a quadratic inequality. In fact, two quadratic inequality. The first one, second one. Okay. First part. X squared minus 7x plus 10 more than 0. Okay, factor of 10, 2 and 5. Since this is minus, both must be minus. Sketch a graph. The roots are 2 and 5. More than 0 means the region should be above. I'm going to shade this. Above the x-axis, oops, here and here. Move it down. So my x value is either less than 2 or more than 5. Okay. Now the second one, x squared minus 7x less equals 0. This is easier. You just take out common factor, right? You sketch the graph. Yeah, always draw a smiley face because your a is more than 0. It's always positive. The roots are 0 and 7. Less than, remember this is your y. You want your y to be less than 0. The region that is less than 0 is below the x-axis. So, and you want to highlight this and say, okay, my x value is between 0 and 7, but in this case is inclusive because my original equation has an equal sign. All right, then they say hence. Hence means you're going to use a result from part 1, right? Now you notice this inequality here can be broken down. Let me write down negative 10 x squared minus 7x less than 0 can be broken down into x squared minus 7x more than negative 10 or x squared minus 7x less than 10. So we want to bring the 10 over, right? And you want to use the result from part 1. Can you see the solution of this inequality here is this? So we can say x should be less than 2, x more than 5. You don't have to do it all over again, just use the result. And the second one, oh sorry, there is an equal sign here. See, there is an equal sign here that I missed out, and this will be equal sign here. And the solution for this inequality over here, right, is going to be between 0 and 7. So to solve this, right, we need to use a number line. Oh, I'm a bit out of space, so I'm going to draw here. Now let's map out 0, 2, 5, 7. Okay, so you arrange in ascending order. Okay, the first inequality, okay, this is the second inequality. You want to write 1, 2, doesn't matter. We're combining 1 and 2. So less than 2 means I draw circle, move to the left. More than 5, I draw a circle, move to the right. All right. Less equals 0. Yeah, we're gonna blacken it. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say blacken. It should be shaded. That sounds racist. So 0 to 7 here, right? So yeah, shade it. Okay, this is inclusive. So we shade the region here, and we say x is between, guys, 0 inclusive to 2 and 5 and 7. Yeah, not difficult, right? And that's your final answer. Just combining the solution from two quadratic inequality. Yeah. All right, moving on to number 7. Okay, so here we are given the graph of a quadratic function, and you're supposed to find the roots. Now we know a quadratic function becomes a quadratic equation at the x-axis, because at the x-axis your y is 0. So when your f(x) is 0, your intercept here, the x-intercept, represent the root, which is, root means what? The solution to the equation. So the roots are 3 and 7. Okay, that's all. First part. Find the values of p and q. So here what we want to do is we want to compare the, what they call that, the coordinate of the maximum point from the graph with the coordinate maximum point that you can get from this function. Now from your graph number 1, this is something you learn in your normal maths, right? We can, when you're given the roots, we can always find the axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry is the midpoint of the roots, 3 plus 7 divided by 2, which is what? X equals to 5, right? And I know my y value is 4. My y maximum is now 4. So you want to compare these two with the maximum, minimum, and axis symmetry from the function given. Okay, so for the function, I'm going to multiply the negative 1 over 3 inside. So this is x plus b squared minus 1 over 3q. Now you can see that a is less than 0. If your a is less than 0, your f(x) certainly going to be maximum. My maximum is now negative 1 over 3q. Now that happens when when the one inside the bracket, I hope you know this already, yeah? When the one inside the bracket, x plus b is 0, x is negative b. Okay, so I want to compare my maximum value from my graph here, which is 4, with the maximum value that I've got from my equation, which is negative 1 over 3q. So we're going to write negative 1 over 3q equals to 4. Negative 3 times 4, q is negative 12. My axis of symmetry from the graph is x equals to 5. Here I got negative b, so negative b is 5, b is negative 5, right? I think the order of the question is a bit off because one of the past year question, 2004 or something, I can't remember exactly, also they made, I won't say it's a mistake, but I would say it's better for them to ask B, part C in part B first, right? Because you notice here is the equation of axis of symmetry of the curve, which actually we found earlier. Yeah, we need the equation of axis symmetry to solve for P and Q. So anyway, we'll just write down x equals to 5. Okay, so I'm just going to write this down. Next one, the range of values of x when f(x) is positive. Okay, just use the graph that you have. Okay, f(x) is positive when it's above, where? Here. So you move it down, Okay, so what are my range of values of x? Okay, my range of values of x between 3 and 7. Okay, yeah, this is not difficult, I hope. So moving on to question number 8. Okay, so again you are given a quadratic function, but this function is written in general form, right? Now you're given the roots, right? So if you're given the roots, we can work backwards and form the equation in factor form, or you can even do SOR POR. So what do you think? SOR POR? Yep. Now since it's fx, okay, I can use SOR POR. Okay, what's my SOR? Sum x squared minus SOR. What's the SOR? Sum of roots x. What's your POR? Product of root. There you go. This is x squared minus 8x plus 12. And you want to compare with this equation over here. Now take note that it's not true all the time, depending on the coefficient x squared, because for example, if your coefficient x squared is 2, then the graph will be a lot higher like this. Then you may have to multiply by 2. But in this question, your coefficient x squared is not 2, it's just 1, so it's the same as if you were to use SOR POR directly, right? So by comparison, b is minus 8, and c is 12. Now you can also work this way, guys. You can also say my fx is what? Okay, we know the roots is 2 and 6, right? So we put x minus 2, x minus 6. When you expand, you still get the same answer. Yeah, so both method also can work. Okay, next let's find out the coordinate of your minimum point. Okay, very simple. We already know the roots, so we can use the axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry will be x equals to negative 2 plus 6, no negative, divided by 2, which is just 8 over 4. Alright, and we can take this and substitute inside your function. So if you put 4 inside a function, you get 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 32, plus 12, sorry, plus 12. So yeah, 16 minus 32, negative 16 plus 12, negative 4. Right, so your fx minimum is now negative 4. Your coordinate of your minimum point is 4 minus 4. Oh, it's a very bad number for Chinese. See? Alright, let's look at number part C. Okay, find the range of values of x when fx is negative. Okay, very simple. We look at the graph. Fx is negative here. Oh, move it up. So x value is between 2 and 6. Alright, lastly, find the maximum value when the graph is reflected in the x-axis. Okay, we know that when you reflect in the x-axis, what happens to your graph? Your graph will be, maybe I use a blue color, upside down. So before this, your minimum value you can see is negative 4. Okay, let me write nice here. This number is a bit ugly here, negative 4. So it's over here, negative 4. So when you reflect in the x-axis, it's going to be positive 4. Now, I don't think you need to do any working, you can just, because it's just based on the your minimum value here. So if you want, you can say your y maximum or your fx maximum, yeah, is now, you want, you can put a modulus, but you can just write 4. Okay, it's only 1 mark, yeah, in exam, right? So you're not supposed to find the equation of, now sometimes they may ask you to find the equation when it's reflected, the new equation. You're not supposed to do that, so I will just flip it up. Use a graph and just write 4. Okay, let's move on to number 9. A boat moves 24 kilometer, right? Okay, to the east with the water current is 3 kilometers an hour, right? So now the to and fro journey took 6 hours. Find the velocity of the boat, yeah, if the boat maintained a uniform velocity. Now I think this question, right, is a bit, how to say, not very clear, right? Perhaps they should supplement it with a diagram. So if you, let's say we draw a boat for you, okay, I'm going to the east, right? So okay, this is the jetty, if you like. I'm moving between, let's say, the riverbank, okay? So, and, okay, so I can't say riverbank because riverbank means it would be, the water will be flowing. Okay, this is a bad diagram. I should draw, let's say, like this, okay? Yeah, my boat looks very ugly. Okay, the distance between them is 24 kilometers, right? And the water must flow in the same direction or the opposite direction, right? So that's the thing, it's not very clear, right? A lot of students wouldn't be able to understand what the question wants, okay? So the water current has two possibilities, either going in the same direction as the boat or opposite direction to the boat, right? So maybe I will just assume, okay, it's opposite direction. So you are going from point A to point B, let's say. So when you go from point A to point B, I do not know what's my velocity or my speed, all right? But I know I'm going this direction. So again, it's not good to use the word velocity here because velocity has direction, right? So if I go to and I go fro back, the velocity is negative of each other. So it should be, the word supposed to be speed and not velocity. Okay, so let's say from A to B, let's say I go from A to B when I'm going east, right? I'm going east, yeah, go east. So the speed, let's say, will be, my original speed should be x, but because of the current is going in the opposite direction, right? It's now -3. Yeah, the current is going opposite direction, so this one is going here, current is going opposite, so my speed should be x minus 3. Understand? So now let's say on my return journey, okay, all right, so sorry, my board is super ugly, let me just draw another one. Okay, on my return journey, now you are going in the same direction as your current, so you are going to go faster, right? 3 km/h. So from B to A, this is your A, this is your B, right? So, or you can say you go west, so my speed will be x plus 3. Correct? Yeah, I can't say velocity. Velocity will be minus x minus 3 because velocity has direction. Okay, so the speed is now x plus 3. Okay, so now we know speed equals distance divided by time. So for the first part of the journey, my speed is x minus 3. My distance is still 24. My time is, let's call it t1. And t1 is 24 over x minus 3. Now for the second part of the journey, so I'm traveling the same distance, but my speed is now x plus 3. The distance is 24, but the time, I call it t2. Correct? Yeah, the time taken, I do not know. It should be shorter. Why? Because you're traveling faster, right? T2 should be 24 over x plus 3. And you're given that the total time taken is 6 hours. So we can say T1 plus T2 is 6 hours, right? So 24 over x minus 3 plus 24 over x plus 3 equals to 6. Now, by the way, if you change the direction of your current, it doesn't matter. You can say for T1, current is going to the right, let's say. For T2, current going to the, so your speed will be x plus 3. For T2, your speed will be x minus 3. So it's okay, and because the final answer is going to be the same, right? So, okay, I don't have space to write this down. Maybe I'll continue here. So, for me, I'll just divide everybody by 6. I don't like big numbers. I like small numbers to work with. So 24 divided by 6 is going to give us 4, x minus 3, 4, x plus 3 equals 1. Then you cross multiply 4x plus 12 plus 4x minus 12. I hope you understand how to do this. So I just highlight to you this times this times this, these two times together. So your denominator will be x squared minus 9. The result is 1. So the 4x and 4x plus together is 8x. 12 minus 12 is going to be 0. This will be x squared minus 9 when I multiply up. So x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. We can double bracket factorize this. 9, 1 minus plus. So x is either -1 or 9. But x can't be negative in this case, so it has to be just 9. So like I say, I shouldn't use the word speed. I should use speed. Yeah. In fact, you're gonna learn this in Form 5. Later on. Vectors. Okay, so we should actually call this. This is a difference between speed in still water versus the actual speed. Yeah, this 9 is actually the speed in still water. That means without the current, it's actually traveling 9 km/h. The actual speed from the let's say the initial journey is actually 9 minus 3 because you're going slower, which is 6 km/h. Yep. But the return journey is not going to be 9. It's going to be 9 plus 3, 12 km/h. That's your actual speed. Yeah. So there's a difference between speed in still water and actual speed. Yeah. But I think the question should use that term, speed in still water. All right. Moving on. look at number 10. Okay, the ancient Chinese book, Xiu Zhang Xuan Su, which means the 9 chapters of mathematics arts, contains the following problem. So the height of a rectangular door, okay, let me just draw out a rectangular door, is 6.8 unit more than the width. So the width, I call it x. This is x plus 6.8, and the length between the two opposite vertices, okay, this is one opposite vertex, another one, yeah, the length between them is 100 unit. So find the width of the door. So this one is just forming quadratic equation and solving them. So let's start. X squared plus x plus 6.8 square. I'm using Pythagoras theorem here. 100 square. Expand x squared plus x squared plus, okay, 2 times 6.8 times x. So 13.6x, and 6.8 if you square it, oh, this is a big number, 46.24, and 100 if you square it is 10,000. Okay, so this is 2x squared plus 13.6x. Bring this over. Now you take 46.24, then you minus 10,000, you get 9,953.76. okay, I don't like this number. I think we can divide everybody by 2. So you get back your 6.8 here, divided by 2 is 4976.88. Okay, to solve this equation, definitely we can't factorize it. So I'm going to use a quadratic formula. So yeah, I don't have to explain ABC for you, right? This is your minus b plus minus square root b square 4ac, yeah? Over 2a. My 2a is 1 here, so I think we can do one shot. Use your calculator, one shot, yeah, because otherwise a lot of work. Okay, anyhow, I think I'll just 4976.88. I'll just show you this. So what I've got here is square root 19953.76 over 2. Now, actually, we can straight away ignore the negative value. Yeah, if you take negative 6.8 minus square root 19953.76, you're definitely going to be get negative. So we cannot have length that's negative, right? So just ignore that. All right, 53.76. So I'm going to straight away type this. Yeah, I hope I got the same answer. Plus square root, okay, this is minus 6.8 plus square root 19953.76 divided by 2. Yeah, I got 67.229. yes. Okay, if you give your answer correct to 3 decimal places, but actually you don't have to give such accurate answer. But yeah, question never mentioned. Actually 4 significant figure is sufficient. Okay, since the unit is not given, right, you can just say it's unit. It's just units. Okay, all right, so let's move on to number 11. Okay, we got a few more to go. All right, diagram on the right shows a cross section of a drain around the house. So the shape of the drain is represented by equation y equals 105 x squared minus 24x plus 700. So find the width of the opening of the drain. So they're finding this width. So now I think we can solve this. We know that this is your y value, so we are always assuming that this is your x-axis. We know that, and your y-axis, yeah, could be here, right? We need to find out. We know could be here. This is your y-axis, yeah. So at x-axis, what's your y value? Your y is always 0. So 1 over 5 x squared 24x plus 700 equals 0. You can multiply by 5. Just get rid of the fraction. Now this number is 3,500. Right, I think we can factorize this. This number is quite nice too. Yeah, 550 and 70. Yeah, if you're not sure, you can just slowly work out from your calculator, right? I know a lot of people will just use a calculator and work backwards, but I don't recommend that. It's not difficult to factorize actually. So your x is 50 and 70. So what's your width? That means this is 50 here, this is 70 here. What's the width? The width will be the difference between the root, which is 20. Okay, is it meter here? They didn't give us any unit, so I'll just say unit. Yeah, 20 unit. Okay, find the minimum depth of the drain. Okay, to find the depth, we need to find the minimum value. Now again, we can use what we call the axis of symmetry. My axis of axis of symmetry will be 50 plus 70 over 2, which is 60. And take this sub inside your y. So it's 1 over 5, 60 squared, minus 24 times 60 plus 700. I'll get negative 20. Yeah? Okay, the negative 20 unit means it's negative 20 below the x-axis. Alright, so we say the depth, yeah, I don't quite agree with the term minimum depth lah. This shouldn't be a minimum depth, it should be a maximum depth, how far you can go down, right? Yeah, they should say the maximum depth. This is the first, yeah, the maximum depth, yeah, rather than minimum depth. The minimum depth should be 0, right? Okay, so this will be just 20 unit. Okay, sorry, it looks very ugly. Let me just improve on this. NITS. Okay, that's all for question 11. I think one more to go, number 12, and this is the last one for our mastery practice. Okay, so I hope you master this chapter already. Now, the path of shortcut thrown by Krishna in the competition can be represented by a quadratic function graph. Okay, so I like this question because it shows the x and y axis, so there's no guessing game, right? So it's very clear. Express the equation of the path, of the shortcut in the form of y equals to a x minus h squared plus k. Okay, number one, always remember you need to find out the minimum maximum from the graph and minimum maximum from the equation, and then compare them to find the value of unknown a, h, and k. Now, your minimum value from the minimum maximum is already given here, 2.5. Your axis symmetry is 3, you can see from here, right? So based on this graph, I can see your y should be maximum, and maximum value is the one outside the bracket, which is k, when the one inside the bracket equals 0, axis h. So my k, based on my graph, from my graph, k should be 2.5, my maximum value here, and axis of symmetry is 3, so h should be 3. So my equation is y equals a, x minus 3 square plus 2.5. Okay, to find the value of a, you need another information, So I know some people will say, oh, Terry, this one I put y with 2.5, a, this will be 3 minus 3 square 2.5, then you will get what? 2.5 equals to a times 0, 2.5. Huh? You get like 2.5 equals 2.5. Huh? Right? So you don't want to use the maximum point. If you use the maximum point, you won't be able to find a, right? So you want to use another point. We want to use another given point. Now another given point is where he starts, okay, where she starts actually, 0, 2, right? So you want to sub 0, 2 instead, not the maximum point. So your y is 2, your x is 0, your x is 0, and this will be 9a, bring it over, 2 minus 2.5, negative 0.5, 0.5 is 1 over 2, times 2 times 9, 18. So now I actually like to give my answer in the form of fraction rather than decimal, so I write 5 over 2. Okay, this one looks a bit ugly, let me fix it, so it's 1 over 18. Alright, so that is my function. Okay, then find the maximum distance of the horizontal throw. I would say maximum horizontal throw, that means this thing will land here. So I want to find what is the maximum distance. Now we know it will land on x-axis, at the x-axis, then the ground is x-axis, at the x-axis your y is 0. So take this function, let your y be 0, bring this over, right? Multiply everybody by 18, so you will get 45. So x minus 3. Now you don't have to put plus minus by now. Why? Because we know negative means it's on this side. Yeah, it cannot throw backwards, right? So it has to throw forward. So your x is 3 plus root 45. Type in your calculator. You should get 9.708 meter. Okay, so that is the end of your mastery practice. But before you go, all right, I would just like to talk to you a little bit about what we can offer, what we have. All right, this is the workbook, or should I say notes and tutorial, topical practice, and all the past year question book that we have developed over the last 20 years. So yeah, if you're interested in all this additional material, we have video lesson. Yeah, we also have books just for practice. So you can contact us, yeah, through our WhatsApp or our website, all right, Facebook, our Instagram, right, at www.taliti.edu.my, or yeah, through our phone number. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot, yeah, from this discussion. See you in the next video, okay?